who knows? Everyone gets along with Geddy Lee.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Listography. Jason Joan Kramser here, and it is 80s week. Like we did in the 70s, we are, for this episode, going to make up a fantasy band. We're going to pick a singer, guitarist, drummer, bass player. If you want, you can throw in a keyboardist. And we're going to then give it up to the audience to name the band and decide which of these bands they would most be interested in hearing. So let's see what you guys got.
For the 80s, there's like a bunch of bands that I like wouldn't change that much. Like I could do a fantasy band and just say Elvis Costello and the Attractions, and you don't even need anyone else in there. You know, put like I don't even know who would fit on guitar, Johnny Marr or something. But for this one, I'm basically gonna reconstruct Genesis with a little addition to it. I'm gonna go vocals, Peter Gabriel. I'm going to go guitar, Johnny Marr. Bass, I'm going to go with Mike Rutherford. Drums, I'm going to go Phil Collins. And then keyboards, I'm going to put Kate Bush back there. So it's basically like a group that already was like, you know, recording together and hanging out. So I think just throw them all together. Didn't really have a guitarist, but whatever. Johnny Marr can handle it.
So Phil Collins is your fantasy drummer in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah. I really am into Genesis right now. If I was like actually doing like a favorite of each, you could do like Michael Jackson on vocals, Prince on guitar, Geddy Lee on bass. I'm still going to put Phil Collins on drums and keyboards. I mean, can Prince play both keyboards? I'll put Geddy Lee on keyboards too. So there's so much variety. You can put Prince on literally everything. He can play vocals, guitar, bass, drums, or keys. So it's hard to pick. It's hard to like separate them. Phil Collins, vocals or drums. There's just a lot of, you know, switch hitters going on in the 80s.
Nice. All right. We want you to name our bands, but I'm naming my band Free Winona, the best actress of the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and today. Backboned by Simon Phillips on drums, of later Toto esteem, but in the 80s did really good stuff on Pete Townshend's solo stuff. Mike Oldfield later played with The Who, can really do everything and just has amazing rhythm with a lot of good rock sensibilities. My bass player is going to be Tony Levin from King Crimson and worked on a lot of Peter Gabriel albums. On guitar, I've got The Edge because I don't want it to take over. I just want the technique and the sound and the atmosphere. Synth, I'm going to roll with Herbie Hancock, who's going to be kind of the secret weapon and drive a lot of the melody. And then one of my all-time favorite singers, Roland Orzabal from Tears for Fears. That's Free Winona, baby.
All right. Well, I kind of went with the same strategy that I did in the 70s. I really tried to pick out like a songwriter first and build around that. And so I was thinking like, who's one of my favorite songwriters of the 80s? And that would be Robert Smith. So he'll be playing rhythm guitar and singing. On lead guitar, I've got Will Sargent from the Bunnymen. On drums, I've got Bill Berry from REM. And on bass, I've got Andy Rourke from the Smiths, who I absolutely love. I think he has a ton of great bass lines. And I think they kind of would all mesh together pretty well. So that's my band. What are they called?
I don't know, but I would replace vocals with Morrissey. I think guitar with Johnny Marr. And then I think you'd have the perfect band.
So I'd have had three members of the Smiths in my
band. Yeah, the Smiths with a generic rock drummer behind.
To be honest, Jason, I hate that band. I don't think they'd be any good.
Well, we'll see what everyone else thinks, Joe.
Kidding. I like all those players. Those are all good players, but I don't know. When I think 80s, I think over the top, everything. So, but that's, you know, the totally opposite of that is totally valid too. There's plenty of room for college rock and goth rock or whatever, you know.
Well, Joe's 90s band is going to be Trent Reznor singing, Johnny Greenwald on guitar, Flea on bass, and then Phil Collins on drums. Just keeping it all together.
He's not my 60s drummer, but only because he wasn't drumming yet.
All right, everybody. So we look forward to seeing what you name these bands. You can do the same and leave a fantasy band in the comments as well. Be sure to like the video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications and take a look down in the description of the video to find links to all of our social media accounts and give those a follow as well. We've got another video or two for the 80s coming up, and then we're going to be hitting 1990 on Friday. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
I should have done Michael Jackson, Van Halen, Geddy Lee, Phil Collins, and Prince on keys.